Girls Frontline 2nd Edition has been my most anticipated anime mobile game for a while now, and as someone who still plays the original Girls Frontline, as well as played through other Mikaverse games like Reverse Collapse Bakery, I just feel like I'm well positioned to supply the best review of this anime mobile game on the YouTube platform. Now, this review will be brutally honest because this video is not sponsored nor affiliated with Mika in any way, so we all can just relax, take a deep breath, and thank today's sponsor for this video, LD Player. LD Player is the best full-featured anime mobile gaming emulator I've been using for years. So here I am up close and personal with LD Player, and first off, look, you can do the drag. But you can also assign keyboard shortcuts, and here I made it so pressing A on my keyboard takes me to the refitting room. We can actually take things to the next level here by writing a macro. With just some script kiddie level programming, pressing K will now automatically bring me to my supply missions. And let's say I have to do a more advanced movement like drag my mouse to the far side of the screen. Well, I can actually just physically drag my mouse, assign that to a hotkey, and reference that hotkey in my script. Overall, LD Player's automation capabilities make it my preferred way to play the 2nd edition of Girls Frontline. Use my link in the description to download LD Player for free and take your anime mobile gaming to the next level in a major way. About 4 months ago, I uploaded a video on my second channel titled Girls Frontline 2nd Edition looks great but will still fail in a major way. And unsurprisingly, the video got a lot of hate because quite frankly, my point was just far too nuanced for the anime mobile gaming community to comprehend. And I don't mean nuanced as in like, oh, I'm so smart. I mean, my point wasn't a simple A to B sort of logic. I didn't deliver a low-level statement like, I like feet, therefore I'm excited for Girls Frontline 2nd Edition. No, I gave a very nuanced since A and B, then C, given D, but E. And very sadly, most viewers couldn't even follow after Prop A, and were quite proud to admit in the comments how they don't even have the brain capacity to compute basic propositional flow. Basically, I said since Mika's previous games have been more niche strategies and there's often a focus on difficulty in their games, then this game won't break the mainstream gacha, given that the current mainstream anime mobile games are more open world slop with brain-dead gameplay. However, me personally do think Girls Frontline 2 looks great. Or, to further simplify that take, I was under the belief that Girls Frontline 2nd Edition will be up my alley personally, but not really be picked up by the normie Hoyocells and Kurobots. The title of that video was my opinion, and honestly, I was so ready to be right and vindicate it and just laugh at people. Unfortunately, I have to admit that in the end, I did take a massive L here. I was so wrong about Girls Frontline 2nd Edition because, good god, this game is so insultingly easy that even somebody who has been full-time theory crafting Genshin Impact for the past 4 years will have the mental capabilities to win at this video game. Let's start this review with the negatives first. The game is far too easy and in no way forces players to learn its various mechanics. And before people will be like, oh, but Eango, you hadn't done this, or you hadn't unlocked this. Like, yeah, I know, I'm sure there's hard content later on, but I'm talking specifically about the main story, first impression gameplay. I really don't understand this new trend in anime mobile games making their main story content so easy that the only prerequisite to beat it is that you know how to breathe, even if it's only with your mouth. And the thing is, more dated anime mobile games like Arknights or Punishing Gray Raven, or even Mika games like Neural Cloud or Girls Frontline 1 don't have this problem. I'm not saying the first 6 chapters in the original Girls Frontline were hard per se, but they at least required some basic understanding of the game mechanics, and that is the point. Like, I remember some players getting walled at Executioner in Chapter 2-6 in the original game, which you really only need some basic formation knowledge to overcome. However, the first boss in Girls Frontline 2, Sexton, not only can you be underleveled on autoplay, but you can be underleveled while bashing your face on the keyboard. And I think this terrible difficulty balancing is even more unexcusable considering your doll's levels are literally capped by your commander level. Like, ideally with a level capping system like this, you can more fine-tune the difficulty, yet games like Arknights or the original Girls Frontline just do the progression better without this capping. Alright, next major criticism for this game is some of the writing, which I won't go too nerdy on, as really the only experience I have with writing is lesbian fanfics on AoE3. And towards that expertise I have, I can say that there is zero lesbian tension in this game. In fact, there's like anti-tension. The only Yuri bait so far was mailing asking Kofni to play Tetris with her. Otherwise, my first issues with the writing is just the general Mikaverse blabbery. Terms like URNC, Rose-Archerism, Griffin and Kruger, and I think they even reference the Pike nodes, and these are all thrown out early on. Even easy to explain stuff like neural clouds, yellow-green red zones, and ELIDs are not really explained at all. Like, these are terms I am familiar with as someone who has read previous Mikaverse games, but a new player going into the franchise will be confused in a major way. And even I got confused by stuff, like I wasn't able to piece together what the Great Wall Railway was until I visited the Girls Frontline website and read about it. Like, I just don't understand why, at the very least, Mika couldn't have added an in-game glossary similar to what they had for the Reverse Collapse Bakery remake. In that game, new terms or keywords would be progressively added to an in-game glossary, and I just really think this is a must-have feature for the franchise, as a lot of the story enjoyment for Girls Frontline is understanding the overall world. However, probably my biggest complaint so far on the current plot are the characters. This hoe is boring and says boring things. These two are an unfunny comedy duo. This one is always crying for no reason, and Kofni is alright, I guess. Like, even though the original Girls Frontline game's weakest arc is probably the first 6 chapters, at least the AR team in that game was cool. I don't mind that other dolls are being given the spotlight in the second edition. In fact, I do like how majority of the main cast are completely new dolls. But so far, everyone in the story is just so very boring and says boring things. Alright, last, I'm just gonna fire off some more complaints of the game I wrote down before I get onto the Glee section. There is no borderless window mode. The game has 4 separate volume sliders with no master control. The dub doesn't sync well with the text to the point I'm doubting the localization. And the text itself moves so slow with no option to speed it up, so I often spam click past dialogue. The menu transitions fade in and fade out feel way too slow. Now, last complaint, and I have to be wrong on this one, but it seems Mika added a key binding menu with no way to rebind the keys. Like, surely I'm the dumbass here. Please let me know in the comments how I can do this. Now, if it seems like I hate this game majorly so far, well, that is not the case, as in fact the second edition of Girls Frontline is my favorite anime mobile game released this year, as long as we are not including Heaven Burns Red. First off, the storytelling, while I went over my issues, does still have the same classic Mikaverse world building, and honestly, I have seen from the original game that Mika is very, very good at delivering in the climax arcs. Like, if I were to tier list anime mobile gaming event stories, basically at least the top 5 I would have to give to the original Girls Frontline. So I guess I am more lenient and do think that this first arc is doing fine at establishing the initial world building for the second edition. Now, the graphics in this game are really good, and the performance is also really, really good. Like, I can run this game on 144 FPS on the PC client, and play another game on LD Player, and stream on OBS at the same time, and I noticed no issues. I've also tested this game on my mobile phone, and it also runs really good. Particularly, the character models are super good. Like, I actually like the interpretations of a bunch of the dolls in GF2 better than GF1. Like, I like her better in this game. I think this is MP7. I definitely prefer Stechkin in this game, who is now called Kesenia. Pretty terrible name in my opinion. But even the new dolls like Sharkari and Kofni and for sure Nemesis are all super good. I really like how none of the dolls have big boobs whatsoever, and I would give the overall character design in this game a 10 out of 10. Then the graphics and animation in the actual gameplay I think has a cool distinct anime realism style to it. It kind of reminds me of Fire Emblem Three Houses sort of, with the realism graphics except with more anime styled character models, and yeah, I think it matches the more edgier aesthetic of the franchise. The new dorm area, as I'm showing off here, is also a pretty good meme. Now, I was kind of worried that some of this Coomer bait would be more prevalent in other areas of the game, like the main story, but so far that is not the case. The new dorm stuff is really just like how GF1 had lewd fanservice-y skins, and I guess it makes good X-platform marketing. Or just streamers being like, oh no, chat, is this real clip marketing? Then low IQ Coomers can install the game and autoplay their way through the first 3 chapters, and honestly, I think this dorm in itself will, at least for the first month, drown Mika in money in a major way. Now, the coolest thing you can actually do is actually save this as your home screen. So I'll select a position here, and in the top right, if I just click this, I can add this as my home screen. So if I go back to my home screen, we see it's now Nemesis instead of Cheetah. And in my opinion, this is a pretty cool evolution from the Live 2D home screens. The gameplay I was earlier roasting in this video for being brain dead autoplay, but honestly, in the couple times I have struggled and going through the optional tutorials myself, I actually do think there is a ton of depth and potential in the gameplay. Like there's different damage types, an elemental system, dolls each have 4 abilities and a signature passive, specific boss mechanics, and just so much more, which unfortunately for this initial review, I've just not experienced to the full extent yet. And then for the actual gameplay, it controls very well. Like you're given very clear indicators on enemy ranges, statuses, weaknesses, your doll skill uptimes or passive procs. Just everything you need to win at this video game is very optimally shown to you. Last thing I'll rant about is just the general gacha mechanics and character progression mechanics. And for this, let's be real, they basically just copied what Hoyoverse does, and I'm kind of torn on this in some ways, but I'll expand on that later. First off, we have recruitment, and from my understanding, it is basically just 1-for-1 the Hoyo system. Actually, we'll just do roles on video here. Let's see if we can get an actual powerful white presenting Asian anime woman. That is QBZ191. Okay, we got a bunch of nothing there. I do use Crowlick though, so I'm happy with that. This is just going to be a summon video now. So all weapons, as we can see, they are definitely learning from Hoyoverse in a major way. Okay, last one. All right, give the jump, do the jump. Oh, that's the jump. Okay, huge jump. So that means that it is a 5-star in here. If I get another Mosin Nagant, I'm just gonna tilt so hard actually. I've already gotten like 2 of her. Ooh, is that a 5-star weapon? Okay. Maybe Nemesis can use that. The Samosek. I actually wonder if Nemesis can equip that weapon, so I guess this leads us to the general character progression system, which I do have a couple issues with on how they copied Hoyoverse, and the first issues is actually with the weapon, so let's see if she can actually equip that. So she can, but the thing is, and this is kind of an issue I have, is it's not like a signature weapon, and I always find this annoying with Hoyo games as well, is you just feel like FOMO if you're equipping a non-signature weapon. What's this do even? Electric damage. Actually, no way. Is this for Mosin Nagant? Okay, if it's for Mosin Nagant, the game just wants me to use Mosin Nagant. I think she's an electric character. Are you kidding me? Yeah, I think it's her signature weapon I got. Okay, well, you know, at this point, for those that don't know, I already have like a duplicate of her. So at this point, the game is just telling me I have to use this character. Unfortunate. I was using Nemesis instead because Nemesis is quite frankly way hotter. Anyways, besides the like signature weapon tie-in, which I don't like, also attachments I'm more skeptical on because as many know, I absolutely despise the relic system in Star Rail. That said, as long as it's like implemented better and you're given more resources to actually level things at a good pace, then I think the attachment system can be pretty cool. Like, as you can see, it can physically change the design of your weapon, and you can even apply, like, skins to it, kind of like Glamour and WoW, so you can have a very ugly-looking weapon, but then have a specific skin to make it look the way you want. Anyways, that's a wrap for my review on the second edition of Girls Frontline. Overall, the game is good enough that it will be my main anime mobile game I am streaming on Twitch for the near future. As for my community poll, unfortunately, it appears my audience hates it in a major way. However, I also asked my stream followers actually in-game to give a rating, which I will edit in here. As for my rating for this game, I think I will give it a 4.3 out of 10.